Okay. Okay. Testing. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Whew. Okay. It's working.
Yay!
All right. So today we started thinking we can make a short film outside, and I don't know how many degrees it is.
26.
I didn't check the weather.
Yeah.
And also, like, two pieces of my equipment failed. So we're doing this instead. And, yeah, so this is Conversations With episode 2. Hey! It's finally happening.
The long-awaited sequel.
Long-awaited sequel. Dennis couldn't come today. Hopefully this will be shorter, mainly because my dog is beneath us and he's giving me a look of, shut up, I want to go to sleep. So, yeah, let's think of an idea. Okay, so you want to talk about Star Wars, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Talk about Star Wars. Now, it's been a year since I've seen these, but... so do you have your list?
I can wing it.
Okay.
Because I think my list is pretty set in stone.
Okay, we'll go bottom to top.
So, okay, you can do your transition.
I'll introduce it, yeah. So, speaking of pop culture... it seems so forced now.
Yeah.
So the other thing we wanted to talk about was Star Wars, all right? And how we rank those movies from bottom to top. My list, I'd say it's pretty run-of-the-mill. I think there's a few controversial picks in there. I mean, it's hard not to be controversial with this series. There's so many people who are diehard fans.
Yeah, they take it way too seriously.
They all have differing opinions. But as someone who has seen all the movies probably once, maybe twice for the original trilogy, we'll go through my ranking, and then you tell me roughly, because you don't have one prepared yet, because this was very.
I'm gonna try to impromptu make mine. Yeah.
Now, starting at the bottom, I have the Clone Wars movie.
Oh, you're counting that. Okay.
Oh, I'm counting it.
That's fair. That should not have been a movie.
Yeah. I got about like a quarter of the way through it, and I said, I don't understand what people see in the Clone Wars. I'm sorry, Dave Filoni fans.
Have you seen the show?
No.
Oh, man.
I need to get around to that. I mean, it's been on my list for a long time. I've got a lot of other stuff I've got to watch first.
Force yourself through the first season where they didn't have enough budget for the animation.
Yeah.
And then I think second season picks up. Third season's where you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've heard great things, and I keep on saying I need to watch it. I just need to watch it. But yeah, that movie, I didn't understand. I've never been a fan of the prequels. I've heard watching the Clone Wars and whatever the other show, Rebels, right?
I did not like Rebels. Okay. But yes.
Go on. I heard watching those help improve the prequels.
They help. They do. Yeah.
But yeah, as someone who hasn't gone through seeing all those, not a fan. So, would you agree with the ranking of that one being at the bottom?
Being at the bottom, yeah. So I'm trying to make my list from the top. So this is gonna be confusing, but you keep going from the bottom.
All right. My number 11th place, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
There's 10 movies.
Yeah. Well, there's 12 movies. This is number 11. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Well, you got to count the spinoffs too.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Well, you got the 9, then you got Rogue One, Solo, and then Clone Wars. Okay. That's 12. So yeah, number 11, I've got Phantom Menace. A lot of people defend this movie. Don't see why. It's just not. It sounds like a bad take, or like not a hot take. It's just so common to say that this movie's bad.
Yeah,
you know
I'm not gonna argue.
I mean, there's been like a wave of people recently saying like, "Oh no, like really, it's good because it sets up all this stuff." It's like, no, it's not. Just go. Imagine going into it like someone as me who was like, a casual fan. Like I'll watch the new releases and stuff, but like this hasn't been a part of my childhood or anything. Watching that movie for the first time, just like it just doesn't make sense. There's no like character to any of the actors. There just needs to be more of a driving force behind it besides go to this place, do this thing, which is a problem with a lot of the films.
The actor that plays Anakin, he's from Carmel.
He is. I was going to bring that up.
He quit acting after that movie, I think.
I know, he did. And I feel really bad because he went to Carmel High School and apparently he was bullied.
No!
Very, very hard. It's like, no. Well, and now, I mean, I feel a little good about, like, I think the one bright spot about the prequels now becoming, like, kind of cult classics. I don't want to say cult classics, but becoming more revered.
Yeah.
Is that I feel like nowadays if the kid who was in those movies went to my high school, would be like, oh dude, that's awesome. I mean, the movies may not have been great, but like it's still like, oh, you got now this is pod racing me.
Oh,
and all that.
100%. I would have made that joke. Yeah.
And so I feel bad because I mean I don't know what the guy's up to now. I hope he's doing all right, but yeah, overall it just I don't know, wasn't great. What do you have as your number 11?
Number 11. Hang on. I need to. I think I'm missing 2. So you keep going.
Okay. Yeah. We'll go with number 10, which I have episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Wow, another hot take.
Yeah.
I think this one is marginally better than the first one, but still not good. I've heard this is the one that significantly improves once you've seen the Clone Wars TV show, because now you actually understand what's going on with the clones.
No, that's episode 3.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's episode 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, regardless, I was like, I don't even really remember what happened. I know there were like a ton of clones or something. Yeah, I like I said, it's been over a year since I've seen all these, and they're just so forgettable. Yeah. All right.
I mean, I like it more than you do, but I know more stuff behind it. So okay, I finally have my list.
All right, let's do your bottom 3.
I have agreed with you until.
Oh.
Actually, I do not like Rise of Skywalker. I was disappointed by Rise of Skywalker. I wasn't even disappointed. I felt nothing when I watched Rise of Skywalker. So I put it below Phantom Menace. Because Phantom Menace at least has pod racing and Darth Maul. 2 awesome, like, it actually is... adds new stuff to the universe, like 2-sided lightsabers. What? I don't know. Pod racing, like that scene just in itself. And also, I'm a big fan of special effects. Phantom Menace was insane for the time, and even still, there's like all the miniatures of the prequels, like Geonosis, the arena in the second one. That's a miniature.
Oh, okay.
And it's like 8 feet tall. So they call them bigatures, but yeah, it's just all the behind the scenes stuff is insane.
Yeah.
So I'm putting Phantom Menace above Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Because for special effects, the only thing I know about Rise of Skywalker is they put horns and fur on horses. And then they put him on a tiny ship, and then they put that ship on a bigger ship, and then it's like Cusco. It's like, and then I'll mail that box to another box, and then I'll smash it with a hammer.
Yeah.
Or to save on postage, you just skip the movie entirely. But yeah. So I'm putting Phantom Menace above Rise of Skywalker, and then Clone Wars as last, because that should not have been a movie. Those were 3 episodes they edited together and put in theaters, and I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
My number 9 is actually Rise of Skywalker, like you were saying. I think it's...
Okay.
I don't know. I think if you were to watch Rise of Skywalker and then watch the prequels, I think it's better slightly. I mean, it's not a good film. It's a terrible way to end the franchise. Like, we know we're getting more, but I think it's to end the saga.
The Skywalker saga.
Yeah, it's not great. It sets up a lot of things that it doesn't follow through on. I don't know what Finn was trying to tell Rey.
He's force sensitive. I think that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I know
that or he was gay.
Yeah.
They wanted that. Well, okay.
Well,
John Boyega and Oscar Isaac wanted it, and it would have added something.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for him. His character just got...
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for John Boyega. Yeah. Watch Attack the Block. It's a British movie where aliens come down to the hood in Britain. I don't know where. Maybe London.
I've never heard of this.
It's so good. It's John Boyega's first big movie. It's a small movie, but it's what put him on the map. Attack the Block. It's so good. The design for the aliens, also very good. Anyway, keep going.
But yeah, in my opinion, it's better to have something that is so like I felt nothing watching this movie. I remember I went to the theater with one of my friends, and we just sat, we watched it. There was maybe like a haha here and there, but just afterwards we're like, okay, we just watched. This was a movie, and you know it was set up in Fortnite. I don't know if you remember that, but
with a trailer,
there was, if I'm remembering this right. You know how in the opening text scroll of that movie, it just says Palpatine's back.
Oh,
well, apparently the part where he comes back was in a Fortnite special where, like, at a certain time of the day, if you were to be on Fortnite, you could watch how Palpatine came back. It's like, there's 3 minutes of the movie that we could have used, and it was used to promote Fortnite. But, okay. Regardless, I think having something that is very mediocre or, like, all right all the way through is at least more interesting than something that literally is physically painful for me to watch.
But at least you feel something.
I don't know. I would rather just sit and watch paint dry than I would watching something that just hurts to look at. You know, when something is just it just makes me cringe so much that I just can't, like, even at like the first 2 movies. Even the memes around those ones are so few and far between. A majority of the memes that are actually like good are from Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. And so in this part, you're like, oh, he said the sand thing. Oh, he said the pod racing thing. And it's like, that's it. Yeah. That's all you have. But and in between that, like, you have nothing.
I feel like you could maybe make a drinking game out of the first. I feel like you could make a drinking game out of the first movie. Rise of Skywalker, maybe. Every time. First off, Rise of Skywalker, I will admit, they did some Marvel humor. I actually sort of liked C-3PO in this one. I do not like him in any of the movies, but he actually got some good laughs in Rise of Skywalker. Briefly.
Yeah. Now, to be honest, the bottom 5 on my list, I don't really remember at all. Have you said your number 9 yet?
11, 10. Mine's Phantom Menace. So, the bottom 3, right?
Bottom 4.
Bottom 4?
Yeah.
My next one is Last Jedi.
Last Jedi. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to like my list, but all right, continue.
11. Wait. Oh, 12. So 11, 10. Okay, got it. I'm going to put a number. This is, I did a bad list. Anyway, so yeah. Last Jedi, the pacing is just it's a crawl because the whole chase in space, it's not enough locations, so then they had to ship everyone to a weird random planet to add the planet locations.
Yeah.
It's slow. The weird dynamic between Oscar Isaac and Laura Dern is just weird, and I don't remember most of it because it was just awkward and it didn't make any sense. But yeah, just the chase sequence in editing and pacing is slow. They needed to cut between the scenes way more. They like did a chunk, like, here's this storyline halfway through. Okay, here's this storyline halfway through. Here's this storyline half. They needed to splice between way more. Yeah. I will say, and a lot of people say this, the original trilogy was saved in the edit. The editing of the original trilogy is amazing, especially in Empire Strikes Back. It's so good. For the sequel trilogy to be, like, for the editing to just be not even subpar, but, like, egregiously wrong. Not wrong. You can't say wrong in film. But it's just, it stands out of, like, why did they do this? Yeah. It hurts.
If an editor's doing a good job, you don't notice their job.
Right. If you're sitting there like, why are we still here? That's a problem. Yeah. So I think the editing for Last Jedi, out of the 3 new ones, is the worst. Okay. Rise of Skywalker, the editing is like, it's the exact opposite. It is breakneck speed. Like, I think the first 12 minutes you visit 5 planets. Like, oh my god, like, you're gonna get a heart attack. It's like, okay. It's more interesting. Also, I forgot to say this for Rise of Skywalker. I'm trying to say a good thing for every single one. Yeah. Last Jedi, good thing. I actually like the Luke Skywalker subplot.
Okay.
People are pissed because he's supposed to be the chosen one, and that makes him infallible. No, I like this because, yeah, it subverts expectations. A lot of the stuff they do to subvert expectations doesn't pan out, but the Luke one does. Because then he redeems himself, and there's that. I think because he thought he was a legend, because thought he could do better, he actually makes the same mistakes that the Jedi Council did in the prequels. I thought that was really good. I actually like that. Daisy Ridley's great. Adam Driver, this is the best one with Adam Driver. In the first one, in Force Awakens, he's mopey. In this one, he's angry, but he's also driven, and maybe he's changing, but then he commits to being evil. Like, yes, we're not going to have another Darth Vader. But then in Rise of Skywalker, he becomes good. And I like Adam Driver looks good with a blue lightsaber, I will admit. And also the weird shrug he does with the Knights of Ren. First off, Knights of Ren, waste of time. They hyped it up from the beginning, waste of time.
Yeah.
Adam Driver looks good with a blue lightsaber. The Last Jedi is like, no, he's going to be evil the whole time. And also, you don't have to be a legacy to have the Force. Awesome. I think what The Last Jedi tried to do, great. How it was made, really not entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm not saying bad. I'm saying it's not entertaining because it's slow and clunky. And, I didn't like the casino planet. Yeah. Also, Rose talking to a child soldier about the problems of war, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Someone told me that it should have been Finn and Poe, Oscar Isaac's character. Yep. It should have been them going to the casino planet. That would have been, because they're gay. But it's like, that could at least make a dynamic between 2 out of the 3 main characters.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Last Jedi, Rey finally meets Poe, and it's like, wait, what? They haven't met yet? We're almost done. Yeah. Like, their dynamic is the best part of Rise of Skywalker. We needed more of it in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to reissue because I bounced a lot. So, my worst is Clone Wars, and then a little bit better is Rise of Skywalker, and then Phantom Menace only because of pod racing and Darth Maul. And then above that is Last Jedi because it tried to do different things. It got punished for it, mainly because it wasn't made as entertaining as it needed to be.
Yeah.
Then what's next?
Moving down, I just want to say one good thing about each one. Number 9, Rise of Skywalker. I thought... God, this is going to be harder than I thought. I thought the...
J.J. Abrams' camera work is so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Rise of Skywalker, it made some interesting choices that I think if they had put any seeds into beforehand, it could have paid off. I think what really failed in the new trilogy, hot take incoming, is that they didn't plan ahead.
No, they did.
And if they had, I think it could have worked out a lot better. Episode 2, we got the sand meme. Episode 1,
I'll defend episode 2 later on.
Yeah. Episode 1, pod racing. I didn't even really like pod racing. I thought him saying now this is pod racing was fine. I got bored watching the pod racing. Yeah. Back to Clone Wars, editing. I could turn it off.
Okay. Yeah. Back to the editing of pod racing. It is breakneck speed, but like in a good way because it's a race.
Yeah.
The racing is good and it's also cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Hot take incoming for real this time.
This is number 8?
Number 8.
Okay.
Rogue One. Now hear me out why it's so low on the list.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, so keep going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The reason is I have seen it once.
Okay.
As a Redbox rental on a tiny TV screen.
Oh, okay.
On my way to Hilton Head Island.
Okay.
And it was so dark that I couldn't see what was happening half the time.
So you missed the best part.
And and this was about 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I don't remember anything that happened besides, spoiler alert, they all die at the end.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure if I went back and watched it again today, it would probably be further up my list. But as it sits now, I don't remember anything from it at all. Except I think there's one part where they get captured because they're pretending to be a droid or something.
That's multiple parts.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So I'm going to talk about... Yeah. So Rogue One is higher on my list.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll address that later.
All right.
Yeah. So my number 8 is Solo.
Okay. Well, my number 7 is Solo, so we can talk about that.
Okay. Let's talk about Solo.
Yeah.
I think the actor tried. I forgot his name. People were insane about him not being good enough.
Alden Ehrenreich. Alden Ehrenreich, I think is.
Alden Ehrenreich. Okay.
I believe that's.
Have you seen Hail Caesar? That's a Coen Brothers movie.
I have not.
That was his first big break. Okay. That was the movie that came out. I don't know how agents do this, but when an actor gets big, he or she has 3 movies within the next 3 years.
Yep.
It's crazy. I don't know how they do it.
Yep, that's exactly what happened with Chris Pratt. You had Guardians of the Galaxy, the Lego Movie, and Jurassic World.
Oh my god! And then that was it. That was legit it. Anyway.
Then he did Passengers, and then, I don't know, something.
Ooh, yeah. At least Jennifer Lawrence had an excuse. She started a family. Actually, Chris Pratt started he started a new family. Anyway, I'm talking about Solo.
Yes. Ron Howard.
The actor tried. Oh my god, all the behind the scenes stuff for the directors.
I think that's what.
If Phil Lord and Chris Miller were allowed to make the Solo they wanted, it would have been way higher. Just
as if Edgar Wright would have been able to make the Ant-Man he wanted.
Yeah. Okay. If anyone likes Ant-Man,
I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
I thought it was boring.
I thought it was a good fun movie. I didn't think it was like anything amazing, but I thought it was. I enjoy it. It's in my upper half of the movies, I think.
I think I didn't fall asleep.
We should do an MCU too. Oh god.
We should do it. That's later.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't even have anything much to say about Solo.
Yeah.
I think the best part of it was Woody Harrelson is what Woody Harrelson's character, forgot what his name is. Mm-hmm. He is supposed to be what Han Solo becomes. He's the mentor, and he encapsulates everything about him. Like you have to shoot first, all that stuff. He's the smuggler, cowboy kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Solo in this, he's young and stupid, but he's smart enough to like survive. Mm. The weird thing is he has all the mannerisms already, and he also has a love interest. I don't know. There was a lot going on, and I don't think they achieved most of it. But I think Woody Harrelson's character is done right. I like the Mud Planet because it's like World War One. Mm-hmm. I like that because a lot of the Star Wars stuff, especially shooting fighter pilots and all the dog fights, is very World War II inspired. So to like go to a World War inspiration of like trenches and mud and all that. I like the Mud Planet, and I like the reveal of Chewbacca. I like that. Yeah. Also, the train heist is a great set piece.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine Lego being like, yeah, like they're salivating. They're like, let's go.
We've got money.
Yeah. Also, the music is not bad. The music for is it not Ravagers? That's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But the lady.
Donald Glover.
No.
Right? Or
the
Donald
girl.
Glover's like band?
No. There's like a girl that's like a raider, and they're on like speeders.
Oh.
She becomes Katie Morgenthau in the new Falcon and Winter Soldier show. It's that actress.
Okay.
She's good in this, and her song is cool. It's very westerny.
Yeah.
They replaced the main bad guy with Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany? Yeah. It was a different guy.
Okay.
Who I think, and that was all in the reshoots.
Okay.
So when they started reshooting, they completely replaced him with a new actor. And he does good. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Emilia Clarke.
Okay.
I'm just not. So what do you have to think?
I haven't seen the movie in a while. I mean, I'm going to say that for about all of these. I haven't seen Solo in a while. I think I saw it once. I thought it was pretty fun. Don't remember too much. I remember Donald Glover did a great job.
Donald Glover was good.
And I mean, I think the one thing that just stands out to me as bad was when he's going up to the little spaceship TSA, and they say, "What's your name?" Han.
Oh.
What's your last name? I don't got any family. They're like, okay.
It's like, what are your people? I don't have a people.
Han Solo. We did not need that. We did.
It was very like Ellis Island, which I kind of liked. But yeah, they could have approached it different.
I also think there's something with a lot of like prequel movies nowadays.
He has to get his gun.
You have to see where all of these little character aspects came from, and it's like some of these don't need explaining. You can just have his last name be his last name. You didn't need it to have some grand elaborate backstory. It can just be something about his character. I think the more mystery you have, but some people nowadays,
there's a dog.
There's a dog. Some people nowadays feel like we need answers for everything, and we don't.
Well, it started,
mystery is what makes it interesting.
Yeah, it started with X-Men Origins Wolverine, where it's like, why are we making this movie? Well, we have to find out where he got his leather jacket. Like, do we?
We don't.
And that's about it.
Yeah, just like we found out where. Hi, hello. I don't know if you can see.
No, barely.
A little bit. Hi. You're like poking out between my legs. I think the same thing happened with Black Widow. We saw where she got her jacket.
Her vest.
Her vest. Or what? We don't need... I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like we don't need all these things explained. I think they were just trying to retroact. Yeah. We can get into those movies.
It would have been better if he said Han, and it's like, who are you with? And he's like, I'm Solo. Yeah. And he punches it in, and his ticket comes out as Han Solo, like saying he's just a ticket of one, and he like buys it. But Star Wars has its own alphabet, so that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked. And also, there's no paper. It would have been holographic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would not have worked. I think that's the best way you could have done it.
Yeah.
We're talking too much about the Ellis Island thing.
All right. 7. Have you said your 7 yet?
Attack of the Clones.
Okay. Let's hear your defense.
Okay. So first off, it's supposed to be a World War II romance epic.
Okay.
There's like a whole thing about it where, especially if the poster, I actually really like the poster because it's supposed to be a big like Gone with the Wind epic. Because like the top of it is Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman like resting her head on it. It's very like, I don't know if the Gone with the Wind poster is like that, but it's that level of romantic historical drama. And just, I don't know. I have a lot of fun with it because it's like I played Star Wars Battlefront 2, like Geonosis, Camino, all these locations. George Lucas, especially in the prequels, made the coolest planets ever for any kid to grow up in. All the sequel planets are very forgettable. There's one with trees in it in Force Awakens. I remember seeing that. I'm like, oh, there's trees in this universe. Like, there's too many rocky, sandy, or snowy planets. Yeah. But like in the prequels, like Geonosis is like weird stalagmite hive minds with like bug people, and Camino's like it's all underwater. So we have like these floating cities, and like Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. It's like it's a gas planet, so there's a city right here in the clouds. Yeah. The locations are like very fantastical and beautiful. Yeah. Especially in episode 2. It's just so many different locations that really add to the beauty of it. And also we go back to Tatooine, and there's like that
we do
one
in Rise
shot.
of Skywalker too.
Yeah. It's not as, I don't know. There's the one shot where it's Anakin on the speeder bike, and it's the twin sunsets. And it's not supposed to be pretty. It's not supposed to be hopeful. It's his descent into the dark side is starting. Yeah. So it's not a beautiful orange. It's a violent red. And it's just like he's speeding through the sand dunes, and there's like rock structures that are whizzing by. It's like it's more emotional in the cinematography. The effects don't really hold up, but it's still intense, and it brings out the message in a very cinematic way. So I like episode 2 because of its inspirations and how it adapts that into a sci-fi like world. The dialogue is not good. I don't like sand. The romance, there's no chemistry. There's even a shot where he's like force putting a pear on her fork, and the pear is CG, and it just looks bad. I don't know. Also, the lore doesn't work where it's like, we need to protect the princess. Let's put a teenage Jedi and her by themselves in her resort on a planet. Like, oh, they won't fall in love. Like, you kidding me? Yeah. But I like the forbidden love and the inspirations of it. The final result, is it what it is? No. Yeah. But the surrounding stuff really helps.
He really went for the fences with some of the ideas. Really swung for the fences.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they all work though. I personally it just never clicked for me. I never cared at all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
My number 6 I had Last Jedi there. Now,
Are we at 6 or are we at?
we are at 6.
I thought you were at 7. What's your 7?
My 7 was Solo. You did your 8 and I did my 7
Okay.
together.
So can I talk about? Okay.
Wait, 7 was Attack of the Clones, right?
7 is Attack of the Clones. Yeah.
So my 6.
Got it.
Yep. We'll cut this out. My 6
This is gonna be
Last Jedi.
This is gonna be a nightmare to edit.
Oh, I can't wait.
All
My
right,
number
you
6
defend Last Jedi.
is Last Jedi. Yep. I think that all of the stuff with Luke and Rey really, really works. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, not my Skywalker, whatever. He would never act like this. I think people change over time. They can have, like, nobody needs to be, like, the super heroic, all the time, non-changing person.
Oh, yeah.
I think it adds depth. And I know 100%. It's not what a lot of people were thinking. Or what they were expecting, and I know it's cliche to say this movie subverts expectations.
Yeah.
But I think it worked, and I really enjoyed the dynamic there.
You think all of it worked, or just with Luke?
Just with Luke. Now I'll get to the other stuff. Now,
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I like the Luke stuff.
I think it had a pretty decent opening too. I think we didn't need like some of the comedy with Hux cutting down.
Oh my god, the prank call?
Yeah. I didn't think that part worked as much.
No.
I think the stuff on the casino planet was not great. I don't really remember. I know they meet Benicio del Toro to do something or right.
I liked Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
But he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think there were some good ideas in there, and I think a lot of the themes and stuff like that work, and it's definitely a different approach to making a Star Wars movie. I don't necessarily think it's a great sequel in a trilogy. Like, I don't think it's a good second film for setting up the finale. I think maybe you could have written something a little bit better to end off the trilogy, but I don't think it's set up enough. I think if you were to look at this film in a box, it's a pretty good movie. I'd say it's in the upper half as I have it. Now, it's very middle of the pack for me. I don't think it's as bad as people are saying, and I don't think it's as amazing as some people are saying.
Okay.
I think the throne room scene worked. I really liked the fight afterwards.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I know it's a hot take.
Have you seen the slow-mo takes of it?
I have not.
I don't think they spent enough time in the sequel trilogy with choreography on the lightsaber duels.
Okay.
As a prequel fan, that's a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But you keep going.
Yeah, I think
the throne room twist I liked.
Yeah. I think if there had been some sort of setup like, oh, if this guy isn't like this great leader, what's next? What happens in the next film? I feel like there could have been more of a setup there. I don't like how the next film took it and did Palpatine or whatever, because they were just like scattered.
They were backpedaling.
Yeah. I think this movie could have worked if a few changes were made. I am okay with some of the Poe and that leader's things. I think a lot of that could have been solved by a conversation. But like Poe, he was kind of an asshole, acting without orders and stuff like that. And if he suffered. We kind of like want him to get the answers because he's one of the main characters. But like, if you're thinking of it as like this is an army, like she doesn't have to give him the answers there, especially after all that stuff. Now,
dramatically, it doesn't hold weight. Yeah. There is an idea people are thinking that if they pointed out a possibility of there being a spy, because why are they tracking us in hyperspace? Yeah. If there was a spy on board, that would have added more intrigue to that subplot. It would have given Poe something to do, and it would have made General or Holdo's convictions make more sense.
Yeah, I think if this script had seen like one more month in the editing room or something, and they just like cleaned it up a bit, changed some of the things here, maybe reworked some of the casino things. I think the script really it could have done a lot better and could have pleased a lot more people. Well, okay, not necessarily pleased a lot more people. I think it could have been a much better film.
Yeah.
Now,
that's an interesting distinction, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah. I think Rose's character could have been better utilized. She does not. The actress, I'm blanking on her name right now, but she did not deserve all the hate she got. Where you have to quit social media. I mean, it's exactly what happened with the prequels. And the actor playing Jar Jar Binks or Anakin, that's definitely an issue. People need to stop getting upset at the actors portraying characters because they have no control over the writing. Yeah. People are just trying to get jobs. And when you land a job in Star Wars, you're like, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to give it my all. And she gave it her all. It's just the writing maybe wasn't up to what was deserved. Yeah.
And then they gave her a bad haircut. I hate her hair.
And then they're like, hey, we're just going to ignore you ever existed in the next movie.
She had less lines in Rise of Skywalker than Pippin. Yeah. That actor that J.J. Abrams likes. That was rough.
Yeah. And so I think this movie, had the third film been better, would have been looked more fondly on. I feel like if it had set up more stuff for the third movie would have been a lot better. Yeah. So I think it's a very middle of the road movie. I don't think it's worse than Attack of the Clones, worse than Phantom Menace, any of those. Okay. And so that's why I think people hate on this movie way more than it deserves. I think there is a lot of good stuff in there. If you ignore like the Princess Leia floating through the is that this movie where the spaceship gets blown up and she's like, oh, I can fly now? All right, whatever.
They fly now?
They fly now!
For some reason, that's the one meme, but it's like not in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that movie was good, and if you were to watch the Attack the Clones and then Last Jedi, ignoring all of the politics and ignoring all the other movies, which one is a better sequel? Okay, maybe not a better sequel. Which one's a better film? I think Last Jedi would win.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Again,
now, what is your?
I have to flex on. I'm gonna focus on the editing. Mm-hmm. The editing in Attack of the Clones isn't good either. Mm-hmm. It's way better than Last Jedi. And I think it keeps the edit. Well, no, it is paced kind of slowly. Yeah.
It is. It's a drag to watch. Attack of the Clones. If I weren't watching Star Wars with someone who's never seen the movies before, and I was just watching it with friends or by myself, I would probably have to be paid to watch that movie again.
Damn. Okay.
Or have like a legitimate reason to. I would never seek out that movie for fun or to watch it or to give it another shot. I would give Last Jedi another shot and see like, okay, maybe I can find a little bit more.
Is it because it has Luke Skywalker?
No. Okay. I never really.
I didn't know if it was
I have no attachment whatsoever to the original trilogy. Like I think they are great movies, and I mean, unsurprisingly, where they rank, you'll see. But I personally, like, it was never a part of my childhood. I don't think I watched them until high school. And so, and I've only seen them like twice, maybe, and on VHS. So, I don't think Luke had anything to do with it. I think it was an interesting place that they took his character, though.
Yeah, I will say to end on yours, and then I'm gonna
we gotta check the battery.
And the battery for this. Yeah. I will say what it sets up. Mm-hmm. Last Jedi. Yeah. It doesn't set up its sequel. It doesn't set up the third movie to the trilogy. Mm-hmm. It was setting up the trilogy Rian Johnson was assigned to make after that movie. Yeah. Which is woof. That's a hefty promise. Yeah. So I think the best part of Last Jedi that half the fan base hates is that it opens up what it means to be a Jedi and just kind of the rules of Star Wars. You could go in a lot of different directions after Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. They chose to backpedal back to what made Star Wars, or what they thought it did. Mm-hmm. So then those two completely clash and cancel each other out.
Exactly.
Last Jedi opens itself to a bunch of different possibilities. Yeah. Not specifically a third movie to the trilogy, but it like made Star Wars be like a genre.
I will give
the TV shows act as Star Wars as if it's a genre. The Last Jedi does that as well, and I do have to comment for that.
Yeah, I will give credit to the prequels for sticking with their story. Like, I know
it's one vision.
midichlorians and all of that, all the talk to death issues with the prequels.
Well, that's only in the first one.
They take their foot off the gas for some of the things, but they don't turn the car around.
Right. Yeah.
They'll let Jar Jar fade into the background, but they won't give him one line in the entire movie saying, "Hey, I gotta stay here. I can't go with you guys because people don't like me."
Right. Well, he actually becomes part of not the council, but he becomes part of the Senate.
Yeah. So you're seeing like the things that didn't work. Instead of saying let's course correct and go in a completely opposite direction, let's change.
It's a shifting of focus.
Yeah, it's a shifting of focus rather than turning everything completely upside down.
Yeah.
So I'll give credit to the prequels there. Now, do I like everything in the prequels? No.
No.
but I think they do a better job at that than the sequels do.
Yeah. But I do have to say, Last Jedi, in terms of an ending, opens itself to possibilities that really no other Star Wars movie did, except for maybe A New Hope, because it was the first one.
Yeah.
So Last Jedi, I have to commend what it wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Gotta sync up the audio.
Yeah.
Your number 6. What do you?
My number 6. Yes. Sorry, I needed to number these. My number 6 is. Oh, my number 6 is Rogue One.
Rogue One. All right.
So now I can talk about my experience with Rogue One. First time I saw Rogue One was in the hype of Star Wars is back. It was the second movie Disney released. So I saw it at Flick's Brew House. But I think we bought tickets late, so we were in the front row. Have you been in the front row of Flick's Brew House?
I've not been in the front row of Flicks, but I have in a few theaters.
Yeah.
But yes, continue.
Not worth it. Like I also saw Coco, I think, in the front row at Flicks, but like it was like you had to do this. And in the opening of Rogue One, I think they visit 3 or 4 planets. Like at one point, there's just a prison planet that they go to, and the names are at different parts of the frame. So like my neck hurt.
Yeah.
And the problem was, Rogue One is as high on my list as it is because of the visuals. I've rewatched it recently. I think the story is flawed in that I don't care about any of the characters. But the look is so good. Star Wars has never been this beautiful.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards knows how to work his production around scenery and especially CGI, and it just works. It's so pretty. And like just landscapes with spaceships and how that works, and also just the Death Star is terrifying because it's a space nuke. It's so cool. It's so cool. Again, it looks like a lot of World War II footage of them testing it in like Bikini Atoll, like that footage of the cloud and all that. Like it's so good. Also, there has to be like a new ship in every single movie.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know what it's called. It might be called the T-Wing. No, it's not called the T-Wing. But the one that it's like this way, and then when it takes off, it like does this, and it's flying like this, but then it like, that's a good design. There's like the little things that I like about Star Wars that every movie does some of it, and it's like, ooh, that's good, and then other movies do that. So yeah, I think the production of Rogue One is great, and then they fired the director, hired a new one for the editing process, and gutted a lot of the final battle. It was supposed to be 2 different satellite towers. They were supposed to get the information, and then they were supposed to do an all-out charge to the satellite tower, and that was going to be when the whole team was together fighting, and there's going to be like AT-ATs. Apparently they're called AT-ATs, not AT-ATs. And that shot is in the trailer, them running as a team to the next tower, and like they're fighting the entire empire on their way there. That was cut out for time, and I totally understand because it's a long movie already. If they had to get to another tower, oh my gosh! But I think the characters are not disappointed, but they cut short.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, they're just cool. Like they have, I think his name is the guy from Ip Man. He's the blind monk.
Okay.
He's my favorite.
Okay.
And the robot, like KS-29, KS-79 or something. He's cool. He has all the quips and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The characters died in the order that I cared about them.
Oh.
So as soon as the robot died, I was like, oh. And then the monk dies. And it's like, no. And then the guy with the big gun dies. It's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And then the rest. And I didn't care about the rest.
You didn't care about the main characters.
No. I like that they didn't kiss. They hugged.
Mm-hmm.
That actually was, I think, a point of conversation in the production. It's like, should they kiss or should they hug? Should we make it romantic or not?
Mm.
I'm glad they didn't. The final battle is just beautiful. Again, it's a beach planet.
Mm.
We haven't seen a beach planet yet. I like it. The water's blue and stuff. Stormtroopers are my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
So any movie with a stormtrooper, I like, and the stormtroopers look good in this.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with how Gareth Edwards shot it. They're beautiful. Death Star is great. Ben Mendelsohn, great highlight. I love Ben Mendelsohn. He's the bad guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really remember any of this movie, but
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sure it's great.
Okay. Ben Mendelsohn is great because have you seen the Farming Really a Man of Your Talents?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I know Ben Mendelsohn from the Skrull guy.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Marvel, but that's about it.
Rogue One has one of the only actual memes from the Disney movies, Farming a Man of Your Talents, and that's from Ben Mendelsohn.
There you go.
There's a Skarsgård in it. He's the No, is that Skars? No, it's not Skars. It's he's the new. Can you look up the cast?
I can. Yep.
He's the new Grindelwald. He's the new Grindelwald. He's the dad.
There is.
He's Urso.
Is he in it? A Skarsgård?
He's not a Skarsgård. No,
I was gonna say that. No, it's not a Skarsgård.
He's in another round. Oh my gosh.
You're saying he's the dad. Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. Okay. Whoops. Mads Mikkelsen is great in the little bit that he's in it. Shoot, I forgot the actress. She's great. She tries to work with
Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones. I like Felicity Jones.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a lot to work with. I'm gonna be honest. She's like supposed to be like not caring. The worst part of this movie, the worst part that like honestly kind of ruins this movie, is the pacing is great. The energy's great. There's a lot of fun locations and stuff. When they get to the rainy Empire base where she's trying to save her father, and then the rebels, I know you don't remember this, but I'm just explaining this.
Yeah.
It's like 45-minute detour from the main story.
Mm.
She's trying to save her dad at this base, and the rebels bomb it.
Mm.
And that's right before they get back to the rebel base with the news that like, hey, we need to go to Scarif, the beach planet, to go get these plans. I think they were trying to get the dad because he was going to reveal the secret to them. But then it was too late because the dad dies.
Yeah.
So they get to the rebel base. After a 45-minute detour, we're back to the main story. And for some reason, they're trying to talk about like diplomacy of the rebellion. Because it's different planets and different organizations and different leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be democratic. But because it's democratic, they can't make up their mind. So it's not pro-democracy in a movie that's fighting an empire. And for some reason, Felicity Jones's character, Urso, she's the one that gives the rousing speech about rebellions are built on hope after the rebellion straight up murdered her father.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. It's rough. That sequence is rough. But then there's a rebellion within the rebellion that's like, we're going to go anyway. And so they're the rogue squadron. And it's like, oh, cool, we're rogues now. And then you get that whole Americana story where it's like, oh, yeah, we're rebels to the rebels. We're sticking it to the man. And so then they go to the planet, and that whole fight scene is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It looks great. The action's great. And then the characters die, and I don't care. But that 45-minute detour, like, really ruins the movie. it's just too slow. It ruins all the energy because they're sitting waiting for the dad to show up because one of the guys is supposed to assassinate him and she's trying to save him. So there's sort of a dynamic going on, but it's not enough to save that scene. And that scene really bogs down the movie.
Okay.
So that's why it's low. And also because they didn't have time because they had too many characters. They didn't have time to flesh them all out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Number 5. Well,
wait, no, that's my number 5.
That was your number 6, right?
Am I missing one?
Are you?
Saw the Rogue One. No. This whole time I've been confused. No. Oh, I'm missing Force Awakens.
Oh.
Is
it below anything that you've had so far?
I would put Force Awakens below Rogue One.
Okay.
Only, like, I'm not even going to talk about it that much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting Force Awakens below Rogue One because it does not have any rewatch value.
Mm-hmm.
First time watching it, you're like, oh, wow, it's great. Star Wars is back, all that stuff. Yeah. Rewatching it, I don't even know why. There's no way to explain it. Mm-hmm. The energy's dead.
Okay.
And I think it's because it goes nowhere. Like, the sequels aren't anything to watch, worth watching, in most people's opinions. Mm-hmm. So you see this movie setting up all this stuff, and in the back of your mind, even though you're like, it's just this movie, the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, but this doesn't go anywhere. This isn't true. None of this is real. Also, it's just A New Hope again. You can't enjoy the movie because of everything around it.
Okay.
And I think that sucks, but Rogue One actually stands on its own. Mm-hmm. Is it fully successful in that? No, but it does have its own identity. Force Awakens does not. Mm. So I'm putting Force Awakens as my number 6.
All right. My number 5 is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Interesting. Okay.
I know. Yeah. I think...
That's pretty low.
It is pretty low.
Interesting.
But I think it is an enjoyable movie. I mean, I like it better than most of the new stuff, as you've seen. Mm-hmm. All but one of the new things. Yeah. And I think it's not, like, amazing. I think there's a lot of like the funny bits that people like come from this movie. Mm-hmm. I don't, once again, this is another movie. I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't really remember anything that happens, but I remember watching it, enjoying it. I had a good time, especially after watching those first 2 movies being such a drag. This one was a breath of fresh air.
It's a big upgrade.
Now, does it make sense that they go to a city planet and whoever the bad guy is, who's the overall bad guy in these movies? I forgot.
What, Sidious?
Probably. Sidious hires, what's his face? Dooku, who hires...
That's the second one.
Oh, is that? Okay.
That's Attack of the Clones.
Okay, yeah, that one bothers me, where Sidious hires Dooku, who hires Jango Fett, who hires some shapeshifter who
hires the robot
who hires
then sends the caterpillars.
Yeah. Okay, all right, good. That's in a movie I don't like. All right,
that's
cool.
in episode 2, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, it makes
I think it's
no
so
sense.
funny.
It's like,
yeah.
All right, you guys couldn't do your own dirty work. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's great.
Anyway, well, episode 3, clearly I don't remember it. I think the betrayal works well. I think that's fun. I don't know. I think overall pretty good.
The actor that plays Palpatine, I want to say
it is Ian McDiarmid.
It is Ian McDiarmid. He's fantastic, especially in this movie.
Yeah.
I think he's great. Anyway, you keep going.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really have much to say on it, obviously, because I don't remember much. But I think it worked well for the most part. Now, was it... I don't know if it was anything to write home about, but, like, I thought it was fine. So,
okay.
Your number 5?
My number 5 is...
Oh, wait. That's
Rogue One.
All right, so we'll move on. My number 4 is The Force Awakens. Now...
Interesting. Okay.
I know. I have not seen this movie since theaters, so maybe my opinion.
So you haven't rewatched it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, then don't.
Okay.
I would say don't rewatch it.
I'll keep my
your initial...
Yeah. Now, I saw it in theaters like 2-3 times because I really enjoyed it when it came out. I think a lot of people are forgetting the hype that went into this movie.
It was insane.
At the time, I think the most hyped up movie, because you're forgetting, we haven't had Infinity War, Endgame,
Right,
Spider-Man
before
No
that.
Way Home. None of those things have happened yet.
Where were we in the MCU by that point? I think
Force Awakens was 2015, which means at that time, that was the year that Age of Ultron had just come out, and Ant-Man was the latest film.
Oh, so like a low point in the MCU too.
Not necessarily. The year before we had Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, so it was a small dip.
Okay.
But not like I think like 2016 we got Civil War and Homecoming. But it was like a lot of fine good movies out of the MCU, but we had Force Awakens. Everyone was freaking out. That first trailer, Chewie, We're Home. Everyone, I think the trailer might even be better than the movie.
The trailer's so good,
which is a whole other conversation. But that just going into it, just wondering like, oh, how are they going to bring back this person and this person and this? I think there was a lot of hype, a lot of mystery. I think there were a lot of great things that were set up. Yeah. Now they weren't followed through on it all. Yeah. But if you look at this movie in a box, I hate the criticism. Oh, it's just like A New Hope. There are similar story beats. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to get after this big ship. You're trying to follow this map or whatever. Yeah. But you're discounting the difference in the characters. Like, Rey is not 1-to-1 with Luke. Finn is not 1-to-1 with.
He's his own thing.
Yeah,
he legit is his own thing.
Yeah, and then Poe is
sort of like Han Solo.
Some similarities, but I think he's different enough. He's way more of a hothead.
He's more of a hothead, but he's with the rebellion. Yeah. So you're right. He's different than Han Solo.
Yeah. And so I think they make a lot of interesting choices, and they bring back the new characters in a very respectful way. I think it was a good passing of the torch. Kylo Ren is fantastic villain, great setup. I think overall this could have been like, and at the time, this movie was very, very well received. The only criticism people were getting, or the only two criticisms I can remember at the time, were it's a lot like A New Hope, which
that was a small criticism.
Yeah. And Rey is a Mary Sue, which I mean, sure, if you want to look back and say like, okay, well, Luke, it took him all this much work to get to the point where Rey is now, but like, it doesn't matter that much. I think there were faults, and I think they listened to the criticism in the future movies to an extent, and they could have definitely developed a bit more character flaws. But I don't think she was an archetypal like, oh, everything goes right for me and I'm always right. Like there were struggles in there.
There are struggles, especially in. You're right. They did fix a lot of it in Last Jedi. Yeah. But there's not. She is still missing a central need. Yeah. I don't know what she wants. Yeah. You can argue. Oh, she wants a family. She wants her.
I think she wants. I think she wants either a family or parents or something.
They hint at it, but it does not drive her.
If you look at that first movie, I think it has better wants and needs established than the first movie and the prequels. Like they want to do is beat the bad guy. Yeah. And in this one, there's a bit more complexity to that. You've got like I think Finn's character, just as an idea of a stormtrooper that defects and wants to be good now and all that, is such a good idea, because you're finally giving like the joke stormtroopers who never get any characterization whatsoever, other than they can never make a shot.
Right.
You're giving them depth.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if the other movies had been explored a little better and had gone in a consistent direction, this movie would still have like a lot of goodwill behind it. Yeah. Now I think it has been tainted a little bit, it has been tainted by these new movies. But I still think if you were to look on it on its own, which is hard to do, and debatable whether or not it's the right thing to do, I think it works.
Okay. I agree with most of that. I think it's more tainted than what you think. And man, it's just a shame that Finn never became anything.
Yeah, you can just I have my headcanon about where the series went after that and whatever, and you can just kind of think about that when watching the movie. I try not to look at, like, if I'm rewatching the MCU or something, I'm not looking at the Incredible Hulk and seeing like, oh well, this set up this for him
Right,
and all of that.
right.
Like I'm thinking of that movie on its own or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on that.
Yeah.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm putting an original trilogy below the top 3.
Interesting.
Mainly because this is one that I've not seen in a while. Mainly because when I watch the original trilogy, I watch 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I don't watch 6.
Really?
Yeah. It is long. Looking at movies today, it's probably average length.
Yeah.
But compared to the first 2, it is long.
Yeah.
The whole opening Tatooine thing doesn't fit in with the rest of the movie, and Han Solo has nothing to do. I like Luke and that, is he going down the dark side? Is he not? Is he? Darth Vader's great.
Yeah.
Also, Endor, it's a moon where it's trees. Yay, trees. I do like that. There's like behind the scenes thing where they had to have guys with yellow construction vests when the actor that played Chewbacca was on set because they were afraid people would shoot him thinking he was Bigfoot.
Oh.
Yeah. I like that. There was a guy, I think Gary Kurtz, who was behind the sequel trilogy, and I don't know what went wrong, because he was the guy that helped Lucas through 4 and 5. He kind of planned the trilogy, and his plan was for Han and Chewie to die in the new Death Star in Episode 6.
Okay.
Give them something. It's not Lando in there, it's Han.
Yeah.
And they are sacrificed in the war and all that stuff. And also Endor was supposed to be Wookiees, not Ewoks.
Okay.
Which would have been, well, that would have been cooler.
Yeah.
But toys and stuff. Yeah. So he actually left before Episode 6 started.
Okay.
Because of that disagreement of stuff. Gary Kurtz saw that Lucas enjoyed the commercial value of the trilogies of the trilogy, and so he stepped away. So kind of like knowing that promise of what Episode 6 could have been, it's like, oh, wow, that kind of falls short in some aspects.
Yeah.
The Luke story is solid all the way through. I like that. The reveal that Leia is his sister, I don't think does anything. It goes nowhere, even in the sequel stuff. Yeah. She's Force sensitive, but if we stick with Last Jedi, that doesn't matter who you are. Which I would like to agree with.
Yeah.
So Leia being his sister really only disrupts the love triangle that's going on, and that's it. So I don't really I don't really care about it. Yoda's in it for a little bit. Yeah, I like the Jabba the Hutt stuff. I like that whole throne room. It's going on in Book of Boba Fett right now, and I'm enjoying that. Yeah, after Tatooine, I really don't feel it. I like Admiral Akbar saying it's a trap, and I like the dogfighting is the best in this movie than it is in the whole original trilogy. Yeah, it's the best because they've like really honed in the effects, especially with the lightsabers too. The lightsaber duel between Vader and Luke, it's emotional, and they're like whamming each other and stuff, and it looks so good. Yeah, I just think the overall story, it's slow, it's kind of clunky, and there's not as much energy and urgency in this one than the other two. Like the first one, it's like, oh wow, the rebellion's almost over. The Senate is destroyed. They have this Death Star thing. Like, we're done. And so it's like, we gotta fight Empire. They're always on the run. They are always on the run. It's like the scraps of what they used to have. They've lost. And like in the end, they lost. Yeah. Like, it's bad. And then in this one, it's like, oh, we're just sneaking around, and we'll have a feast with these like little chipmunk looking people. It's like, what's going on? Yeah, exactly. It's a different energy. Yeah. So
okay, my number 3 is Return of the Jedi as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and say my top 3 right now because
what's your 4? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Force Awakens.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so your number 3 is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3 was Return of the Jedi. Number 2, A New Hope, or just Star Wars, and number 1, Empire Strikes Back. I don't have much to say on the original trilogy because it's been 4+ years since I've seen it all the way through. Yeah. And so, I mean, I just think that nothing that has been made since the original trilogy has come to the same level of quality as the originals. I think they are. I don't think they're perfect movies. I still think there's faults in them. I think the storytelling is well done, and there's so many iconic moments and shots and whatever.
Yeah.
It's not something I go back to revisit a lot because, I mean, I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. I enjoy Star Wars. I'll watch the stuff that comes out, but you know, I think they're good movies. There's not really much to say besides that. I know it's not very much of a hot take to have those as my top 3.
Oh yeah. So you said was the first time you saw these in high school?
I think so. I think I may have watched them as a kid, but I didn't remember them at all.
Okay.
But then I remember, I think it was either 8th grade or freshman year of high school, I said, okay, I'm just going to watch these. And I watched them and I was like, okay, now I remember them.
Wow.
I don't know if I've watched them since. I think I've seen like bits and pieces here and there. But I really have not seen a lot of these movies more than once.
Okay.
Or twice. So.
Yeah. So let me give a spiel about my top 3.
Okay.
So my number 3 is Revenge of the Sith.
figured.
Episode 3 of the prequels. And then it's A New Hope, and then my number 1 is Empire Strikes Back. I have to stress my bias in this. I grew up with these films.
Okay.
Like, oh wow, they're actually down. My basement used to have the posters of A New Hope and Empire, and then Indiana
Star
Jones.
Wars clock right there.
Indiana Jones right next to it. I have a Star Wars clock off screen. This is, remember, the Titans and Hoosiers. Those were the only sports posters
right
down
there.
here.
Now you gotta edit it in.
Yeah, I have this. Actually, I used to play Battlefront 2 in this booth with that TV. Battlefront 2 on Hoth playing Wampas. I'm not kidding.
Nice.
Geonosis is General Grievous. I grew up with Star Wars. Battlefront 2, watching the whole series every spring break when we drove down to Florida. It's like a 13-hour trip. So I would watch the original trilogy on the way down, and then I would watch the prequels on the way up. I'm not kidding. Like, Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, I played every day.
I think I played that game more than I watched the movies.
Yeah, like, and then like, when I was older than that stuff, like, after the PlayStation 2 and the Wii, I grew up in my youthful, juvenile, before I was, like, a teenager, watching Clone Wars on Cartoon Network. Like, that was the first Dave Filoni stuff.
Yeah.
And it was good. Like, it gave the clones personality. It made Anakin actually likable. It made Obi-Wan even better than he already was. And he introduced new characters that are now, like, staples of the franchise, like Ahsoka Tano and, like, Rex. He hasn't shown up in the live-action stuff, but he might. And just, like, yeah, I've grown up with Star Wars. So, with all the background of, like, the video games and the TV shows, that's why I like Revenge of the Sith. And also, that movie is just bonkers. It's insane. The fact that the opening 10 minutes, well, the opening, like, 2 or 3 minutes is like them flying through a space battle, and it's, like, all CGI. It's like, this is insane. I think it came out in 2005 or 4. But, like, it was unbelievable. And that opening 10 minutes inspired over a decade of television and content and Legos and toys and video games. Yeah. Just those 10 minutes. It's insane. Yeah. And just the music is fantastic. The duels are way too long and way too stupid to the point where they're awesome. Like, you are listening to that music with sticks in the backyard of your buddies, and you're like you're doing it for your whole childhood. Yeah. And General Grievous, like, when he splits to have 4 arms, it's like, what? And, like, I don't know. The Order 66 is so bombastic and over dramatic that it's still emotional. It cranks everything to 11 so that it goes past the point of, well, this is stupid too. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
Anakin killing children?
Yes. I read this somewhere. The kid that's like, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? Yeah. He's dressed and he looks like the same kid from Phantom Menace. Yeah. Anakin straight up murders his past self. Ooh. Metaphorically. Like the wardrobe, the haircut, the childish innocence. Anakin straight up kills himself right there. Like, it's so over, like, English school teacher metaphorical that it's like it's shouting at you like look at this, it's a metaphor, but it's still fun. I love that movie so much. The action's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Like, that's fair.
It's good.
That's
it's fun.
fair.
I don't have the same nostalgia that all of these like the people who really love the prequels. I'm finding are the people who grew up with them, watching them as a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and me just watching them for the first time, I think that was when did Wonder Woman 1984 come out? That 84? 84, yeah. That was 2020.
Really?
Yeah, so I watched them for the first time end of 2020 on my way down to Hilton Head.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's recent.
Yeah. I still don't remember half of what happened. Okay. And I haven't seen them again since. I thought they were fine. I think they are looked upon more fondly because people grew up with these.
100%. And I completely agree with you because, again, the video games, the TV shows, everything, even from just the first 10 minutes of that. Because, like, the crawl, people make fun of this. The crawl of episode 3 starts out with war. It's so stupid. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed
so fun.
The stupid parts of it.
Yeah.
I think, I if I'm remembering correctly, I think after that first...
the battle and
the battle, yeah. After that, until I think Order 66, I was like, oh no, this is just like the originals, and like the original prequels.
No, that's
like,
fair.
I was like, oh no, where is this going? And then finally, it gets to something interesting, and you got the dramatic battle on the volcano planet, whatever.
Mustafar.
Yeah, sure.
I know all the planets.
And I thought that was a lot more interesting. I'm like, okay, it saves itself in the second half.
Yeah.
I think the intro in the second half really saved the movie.
Oh my gosh,
but
yes.
Yeah, I still think
the middle
overall
is still,
the prequels to get to that point where it's like, all right, finally there's some good here.
Yeah.
I don't think it was enough to.
Okay.
But that's me.
Yeah, I think I'm on the fence because you're right. It's the beginning and the end that saves the movie, and I personally think this movie saves the prequel trilogy. Like that's how much different of a tone shift, energy shift, everything. It shifts very much in the better side, but it also has all the faults of the previous two, to the point where they're cohesive, but yeah, you can argue that it's not enough.
Yeah,
I think it is. You think it's not. That's understandable. And then my top two are is New Hope and Empire. Yeah. That's obvious. Everyone thinks. And I think I had to say we were not alive when these came out.
No.
But my dad was. My dad is a bigger Star Wars nerd than I am. Only for the original trilogy. He hates the prequels. I love the prequels.
As most people I know that grew up with the originals. It makes perfect
sense. Yeah. But like the amount of what Star Wars did to cinema is just unparalleled.
Yeah.
It changed everything.
Yeah. It was the first blockbuster or I guess
Jaws
was.
Well, Jaws was the first summer blockbuster. But that's the era where it's like cinema got big.
Yeah.
Cinema was like going to the theaters was kind of like a pastime for decades. But then it was 70s going to the 80s where it was like big money was put into cinema.
Yeah.
And Hollywood. Just especially action movie stuff and sci-fi. It's exploded everything. And all the possibilities that have happened today because of Star Wars, we can't even count.
Yeah.
It's insane. So just saying that. And it's George Lucas's vision, but the people that worked with him along the way are the only reason it's good. He's a man of vision. He's a creative genius.
Yeah.
How he tells a story is rough. You could tell from the prequels because he had full free reign. His wife, now ex-wife, Marcia or Marcia, I don't know how to pronounce it. She saved A New Hope. She's the one that helped the editing team cut out all the fat of A New Hope. And she saved it. It was a lot of her ideas. And Spielberg. It helped that Lucas had friends like Spielberg. And I don't know if they were friends with Scorsese yet or Coppola, but like those are the top 4 directors of that era. Him and Spielberg were best buddies. They worked on Indiana Jones together.
Yeah.
The team he surrounded himself with made the original trilogy so great. And what it did for cinema as a whole is just unparalleled.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the editing in the first 2 movies is spectacular. It sucks that we can't even watch the original A New Hope. I think you could pirate it, and I really want to see the editing of it.
Yeah.
Because I hear it's insanely different. Because George Lucas kept adding all these like CGI establishing shots, and it stretches the runtime, and it kind of like lowers the pacing.
Yeah.
I hear the original is insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then also The Mandalorian is probably my favorite thing.
So
that
what
Star Wars
what shows have you seen?
I've seen both seasons of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
And the first episode of Book of Boba Fett, which is the only one that's out right now. So,
Okay.
And that's it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for where Boba Fett is going.
Yeah.
And I like Mandalorian. I'm interested to see where it goes next.
I think Mandalorian. Now I need to watch the original trilogy again, but I think it might be my favorite Star Wars thing.
Mandalorian.
Even better than the original trilogy.
Interesting.
Now I've only seen all of those once.
Yeah.
And I think the Mandalorian has a lot of go to this place, talk to this person, do this thing, and then go to this place.
It helps that it's like bite size.
Yeah. Every
episode is very contained and very simple.
Yeah.
And very Western.
Yeah.
Because the original Star Wars idea was it was inspired by Seven Samurai, like those sci-fi 50s early Saturday morning cartoons. I forgot what they're called. And cowboys. Han Solo is a space cowboy.
Yeah.
So to have Mandalorian be a full-blown Western, especially my favorite episode is the first episode of season 2. I like that I think it's like over an hour long or something. But just, it's a full-blown Western.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And also, what Dave Filoni has done with Tatooine, like, the whole promise of Star Wars is there's countless planets with countless people and cultures. Dog. Uh-oh. We're not recording.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
How long ago was that?
That was way too long ago.
Oh, no.
Shoot.
Wow. When did it stop?
Well, I'm pretty sure the file just corrupted. Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah, so when I came downstairs...
Oh.
Hey!
Well, we could talk about our least favorite Star Wars movies and say these are our bottom ones.
Shoot.
Shit.
I think that's the top 6.
Oh.
So, it was fun wasting your time all day today.
No, that's all right. It was still fun to talk about them.
My gosh.
Hear your opinions.
I think...
Oh, man. I just realized how long we were sitting.